I want to talk a little bit about Sunday night game, and I know it's a bit early to talk about the Sunday night game, but I want to talk about two 0-2 teams that I believe have all to do this weekend, and that's the Los Angeles Chargers and the Minnesota Vikings. Two 0-2 teams that started off the season with a lot of high ambition. And there are a lot of high hopes for these two teams. On the one hand, you've got Justin Herbert, the darling of the NFL, supposedly top five quarterback. And everyone is probably crowning him down after Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert is probably up there. And then on the other hand, you've got Mr. Kirk Cousins. Mr. No Prime Time. Kirk Cousin has this allegation that he never wins in prime time games at all. And one of these teams is going to go 0-3. One of these teams is going to go 0-3. And I wanted to just dive a little bit into these teams just because, sometimes, on the surface, it doesn't look so apparent what's going on. So I'm going to start with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, they've got a quarterback who's, by all accounts, he's the veteran in the league. Kirk Cousins has done very well for himself financially. Drafted by the Washington Commanders, he was the first person that really showed how to really take advantage of the free market as a quarterback. Because when he left Minnesota Vikings, he got a fully guaranteed contract, right, with the Vikings. And, every single time he's had a contract negotiation, he's got a fully guaranteed contract. So he's earned quite a lot of money. But that's not really what I want to focus on. Has anyone seen the quarterback show on Netflix? Go have a watch of that show. It featured Patrick Mahomes, Mariota, and Kirk Cousins. And it was really, really insightful in that show when I was watching it. And I was just looking at how much of a beating Kirk Cousins was getting. And don't get me wrong, as a quarterback, you are a target, right? Defenses are out there to take your head off. But he was getting an absolute pummeling, in that game. I think he was, they was talking about, he had some bruised ribs, but he never stayed off the field. And actually, Kirk Cousin is one of those quarterbacks that's actually very durable. So why are people always down on Kirk Cousins? Well, because he doesn't play well at prime time. I don't know. If you look at his numbers are pretty up there. Already this season, he's already thrown for 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. And we played 2 games. So averaging about 3.5 touchdowns, a game. He's thrown for over 700 yards. That's like over 300 yards in each game. And his offensive line last season was rated by Pro Football Focus. It's a website, that does a lot of NFL stats. It's always a good place to go and just get some context, with a lot of players. Minnesota Vikings was rated about 15, so middle of the pack. Now, if you put those 3 things together, right, Kirk Cousins throws for a lot of yards, has an average offensive line, and always still gets the job done, then there is some discrepancy going on here. What's really happening? Could it be the coaching? Could it be more situational football? I think that Kirk Cousin is one of those underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League. They've got some good players, right? Right now, you wouldn't know it, but Their linebacker, Daniel Hunter, is actually topping the league in terms of top defensive players. No one talks about him. We don't. Obviously, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, I want to talk about Micah Parsons. And everyone talk about TJ Watt and Bosa. He's quietly doing the business. He's had 4 sacks. He's had about 2 forced fumbles, I think. Also had, tackles for losses, pressures. Right now, he's right there on the top. So, I mean, I feel like Minnesota Vikings can put in a run together. Maybe that starts with, the Sunday when they play the Chargers. And they're both high scoring, offenses. So, I mean, it does make you wonder whether it's more around the cornerbacks, the passing defense. That's probably a struggle, on both teams. I'll be paying close attention to KIRK Cousins and Justin Herbert this weekend. It might be one of the games that I'll be looking at. I suspect that KIRK Cousins might win that game. I have no other reason to give me an indication in that regard, because both teams have lost very close games. I just have this feeling that Minnesota Vikings might just do it, and they've traded for Cam Akers from the Rams. So, when you do that, it means that you probably think that you want to add a little bit more, manage the game, because they always say that usually for most teams, once you get a lead, what you want to do is manage the game. So running the ball, situational football, and perhaps the Vikings have kind of said to themselves, hey, do you know what, we've got a pretty decent quarterback, we've got a very, very good wide receiver, Justin Jefferson's, that boy can go. So you've got that. What are you missing? Can we manage the game in the third quarter and the fourth quarter if we have a lead by running the ball? Just have Dalvin Cook, who's now in New York Jets. So they've added Cam Akers. Addison is still good. I think he will still get a lot of touches, but I think it just helps them a little bit. So Minnesota Vikings, I might just be looking at them for a win.